Now, I originally wanted to do this from the car while I was driving, but a lot's been going on. Very busy week, so I have to do one of my voiceovers. But I've been seeing this make the rounds all weekend, and I don't know if Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, all that stuff, I don't know if they are purposefully not learning their lesson or if their egos are so big that they're like, you were just going to like what we tell you to like, or you're a bigot. Now, one of the thing that I'm talking about is this new Fantastic Four movie. So the big thing everyone's talking about is how Sue Storm is supposed to lead the team. And I've seen a couple people in comments and go, oh, of course, as soon as they put a woman in charge, you're all mad. No, the problem is that continuity-wise, Sue Storm is the leader, or is not the leader. That's Reed Richards. There's a reason for it, because at any given time, even though Marvel has tried to change this currently, he is the smartest man on the planet, the smartest person on the planet. And if he's not, he's in usually the top 5, and honestly, probably the top 3. So this is already just a mid of confusion, because the way I've always seen the Fantastic Four is that they're supposed to be Mr. Fantastic. He's the leader because he's the brains. He's very scientific, very analytical, the way he thinks, the way he moves stuff. I mean, recent comics showed this dude figure out how to think 4-dimensionally. If you want to see him unhinged and uninhibited, go look at the Ultimate Invasion with the Maker and just watch how far this dude could go from the Ultimates. And the way I always saw the group was like that. Like, Reed was the brains and everything. The Thing, he's the heart. He's the monster with a heart of gold. You know, he's with Alicia Masters. He's just a good-hearted guy who grew up in the streets. He turned his life around. He joined the Air Force. There's a reason why I'm going into detail about that. And the Thing is also the muscle. He's the power. One of the strongest characters in Marvel. Then you got Johnny. He's the fire guy. He's their energy producer, basically. By doing fire, he's the heat. He's the youth and exuberance of the group. Like, he's the guy that you want on your side, but also for all his bravado and everything, he truly embraces that excitement and, hey man, look, we got powers, we could do good, and embraces it. And he's kind of your window in because he's so easygoing and everything. Then you got Sue. Now, Sue, in the end, technically is the most powerful character of the group. That has happened over the last recent years. Probably, I would say, honestly, probably since the 90s. And the things that she can do, and it's awesome. Reed can do his crazy stretching. Johnny has his fire powers. The Thing does it, but they all have their things where her powers are mainly limited by her imagination. And she can make force bubbles and all these other things. And it used to be where she could just go invisible. Then they kind of started doing the thing with the shield. And now, like, she can create, like, she could hit you with an invisible mace. So it's like an invisible Green Lantern. And she's kind of the consciousness of the group. And I always viewed her that way, because when Reed would go into one of his deep dives into science, and he would kind of ignore his family, ignore his friends, and he would go into these projects, she would bring him back. She would get him to think different. She would open up the doorway like, listen, you can't just do that. And if the Thing was feeling down, she would have his back. She would talk to him. She's the one that could reel in Johnny when Johnny would go off the rails, because he cares about his sister. So that's what her role is in the group. And it's a great role because she makes sure she's kind of like the glue that keeps the group together. But when you're in a leadership role, there are decisions and things that you have to make that does not match that kind of mindset. So instead of always trying to do the strong woman, why couldn't you make her strength be in the character of who she is and what she means to the group? That doesn't mean she has to be the leader or anything. She's already the most powerful character. And the fact that they're doing that already, to me, says they're trying to check a box and they're not thinking of the story. They're thinking of the politics, identity politics. And if you're like, hey, what are you talking about? Yes, by putting her in there, that's what they're doing, because that's not who the leader is. Just like if I watched X-Men, okay? If it's not Storm or Cyclops, especially if it's the original group, this is like taking the original group of X-Men where it was Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, Angel, and Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey, and then turn around and going, well, she's the leader, even though she was the last student of the 5 to come in. But she's the leader. That kind of thing is just, it doesn't make sense. Then they have this thing where like they want the Thing to be a fat white guy. The Thing is a military man. He's an Air Force guy. Why would he be a fat white guy? And it's kind of weird because I'm like, what kind of story are you telling? He's supposed to be the monster who doesn't want to be viewed as a monster. Because he's a rock golem. Like, so I don't get it. I don't understand why you're doing that. It sounds like you're trying to do it for comedy flair, or you're like, no, I just want this to be this way. So I don't agree with that. Also, they're talking about, they're casting for Galactus, but specifically a Latino actor. Why so specific? What is up with this thing about they keep doing this? We're trying to be diverse and inclusive, and you're consistently cutting out other people. If you're saying the race doesn't matter, and this is a space god practically, so I'm not even making that big of a deal about it. It's more of the, why does it have to be specifically a Latino person? It's like, one minute they're saying, well, anyone can play any character. Like, Kang is black, even though at the time, and don't get me wrong, Jonathan Majors killed it in that role. But either way, it doesn't make sense for a time traveler, because a lot of folks on Earth, sorry to say, don't like black folk, especially back in the past. And it's like, okay, so you have that. Sure, fine. It's like, okay, we'll go with that. Then it's like, representation matters. Well, if representation matters, why would you take the roles and the mantles of Caucasian people and say it matters? Like, it's weird, because it's like, but then why are you cutting out everybody else? Why are you cutting out Asian people? Why can't it be this way? Like, and this is why the Identity Olympics thing is ridiculous. Because it's like, you're either cutting things out or you're throwing everything in, but then you're still cutting someone out. It's just, I don't get that. But then, on top of all that, Galactus is your first big thing? Like, not with their first adventure with Mole Man. I did hear that Silver Surfer and Doctor Doom's supposed to show up, but it's like, what about Puppet Master? You can introduce the Thing with Alicia. Or Red Ghost and his apes. Why not Annihilus if you want to do a big invasion story? That would be pretty cool. How about Blastar the Living Bomb Burst? Maybe you could reintroduce the Inhumans and work with that. There's just, or even Molecule Man, that would be cool, especially with the multiverse thing that you guys are trying to do, which I'm assuming that eventually you're going to try to reboot the universe. So wouldn't it be smart to do something with Molecule Man, maybe? Since he was part of the Secret Wars that you're basing your Secret Wars off of, but, But there's just, like, so many characters. I'm just like, why go with the big thing? And you could have did Annihilation. You could have did this where, hey, there's no Avengers. Here's the Fantastic Four. So I don't know. So far, everything I'm hearing, I'm not feeling. I'm not liking. I feel like they're not thinking of the story. They're thinking of the identity check marks in politics. And that's just not the way to go. The better way to go is by the story. And Reed should be the leader, as he's supposed to be, and Sue and everybody should be in their place, as they are supposed to be. That's what makes the group great. I don't agree with Galactus being, second, but honestly, make Galactus like the third villain. thing, and you could do more space stuff, but you know, I would think Molecule Man or Annihilus, I think would be cool because you could do the negative zone thing and kind of rework that. So I don't know. I mean, this is confusing to me. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I do not like this. I don't like the direction this is going. And I feel like this is going to be worse than Four Stick. Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you.